Angel 95, good morning. Welcome to Morning Magazine and an issue today of interest primarily to our seniors out there. And we have a number of issues that people are basically preying on seniors. We have Abigail Christian, who's with the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. I get that correct there, Abigail?
That's correct, and thank you so much for having me.
Well, we know that a lot of people, particularly these days, not just seniors, but many times it's seniors, citizens, that are being preyed upon by unscrupulous spam people out there. I don't know what, that's a nice name for them, but tell us a little about some of the cases you've heard from.
Yes, well, actually, one of the cases I had when I first began my career in law enforcement, I had an elderly woman. She was about 85 years old that had received a phone call, did not realize it was a scam, and she actually mailed a large amount of cash across the United States. Now, thankfully, she was able to tell her son and his wife very quickly what had happened after she had mailed it, and they were able to call us. Working quickly with other law enforcement agencies, we were able to get that money stopped, and they actually did get it back. But unfortunately, that is probably what we would call a unicorn case, where that does not happen too often. So we were very thankful in that case, but we want to make sure that we get our message out there so that money does not get sent in the beginning, right off the bat.
And I'm sure it's really hard for law enforcement because with today's cheap computer software, you can fake a number, and there's no way of them really knowing where it's coming from.
Yes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they're getting so good at it that they're using, the numbers that we advertise on our own websites and our own social media. So it really does look like we are calling. They somehow can even get Shawnee County Sheriff's Office to come across your phone. And so it really is believable that it is us calling and asking for cash or gift cards. And in all reality, it is not.
What are some of the ways that you can determine that, hey, this is fake, I'm through with this? I mean, are there any ways to be able to determine that, particularly with someone who's not as internet savvy or, phone savvy as someone like you or I?
Yeah, one of the big things we see with what we like to call the grandparent scams is when a scam caller calls and says that a loved one of yours is in need. They usually are able to find out information about you and have a name for your grandchild or your child that they're speaking about. And so they reference them, which really kind of draws in the elderly person that cares about their loved one that clearly needs help. So we want to remind people to just take a moment and breathe when you get that phone call. And you can always hang up, or you can tell them you're going to call back. And we encourage them to call their loved one from a phone number that they know belongs to them. So one that they've contacted their loved one with many times before. Reach out to that loved one or maybe another trusted family member to see if, their granddaughter really was involved in an accident, or if their granddaughter really is out of state and could have been incarcerated and taken to jail. So just take a moment and reach out to someone you know and trust and tell them what the phone call said and get their opinion on the situation to see if it really can be legitimate.
Okay, so I know a lot of seniors are really concerned because it's a loved one, supposedly, that's in trouble there, and they're really wanting to help out. Now, the big thing, I guess, that I see is not to give out any more information over the telephone or any other source that might be trying to get money out of you.
Yes, absolutely. We encourage our citizens to not give out any personal information. If the person calling is legitimate, they should have names or phone numbers or dates of birth about your loved one and information to give you, and they should not ask you for it. And we also encourage them not to give out any financial information. Credit cards are so easy to give out over the phone now. The more urgent that these scammers seem and are requesting information, the more red flags that you should be having go up in your mind.
Now, are many bank employees trained about this? I mean, it seems like they could intervene a little bit if someone's withdrawing a large sum of money and, they're giving a source that's not like, like a local car dealer or a realtor or something like that. Are there some ways that banking professionals can get involved?
Yes, absolutely. And I cannot speak on all the banking establishments here, but I know we have had several that have encouraged their patrons that come in and request large amounts of money to call law enforcement. And I believe we've actually received a couple calls from banks saying, we have this person here, they're requesting a large amount of money. Would you mind coming and just making sure that they're not being scammed? So anyone can help out in these situations. Obviously, taking care of our loved ones and reaching out to people we know and trust is helpful. But yes, those bank tellers are an absolute help when they can see the red flags that maybe others are being blinded by just because of the emotions that come along with these types of scams.
Something else, and I know a lot of seniors use it, social media like Facebook, the prime one, about giving out information, but you got to be careful there too, because if you're saying this is your son or granddaughter or something on there, and if you also put like a phone number, there's a section there you can put your personal phone, to be real careful about what information you give out on public social sites.
Yes, absolutely. It's very quick and easy these days to search people on social media or even Google, and you can find out a whole lot of information very quickly. So we encourage people to be cognizant of what you are putting out to the public and what public information you are sharing out on your social media. And it is okay to make sure that the people you have on your social media are actual people you know and trust. You do not have to feel guilty about declining friend requests from people that you may not know.
All right, and even at that, sometimes they have stolen people's information and got in. I know some key phrases to watch for when, you're most certain that you have a good friend that's on there that's not requesting you to be a friend again. Because if you got someone on there that's requesting to be a friend again, probably there's a scammer involved.
Yes. When you start seeing those people that have multiple Facebooks, unless they're like maybe a loved one that forgets their password quite often, it's probably a fake account, and they are just trying to get information and from those friends that are on Facebook. So always question, and again, we encourage people to reach out to their friends and ask them. Send them a text message from the phone number that is theirs and ask them if they just got another Facebook or if they have a new phone number, and reach out and ask your folks, because that's how they're going to find out that they have been hacked or scammed as well. So very good to help each other out.
Some good advice there. And, of course, that also applies to anybody, any age, actually, what to watch out for. But particularly they're looking for seniors who may be a little bit not so familiar with the Internet ways and telephone scams.
Absolutely. And that's why we really ask the younger generations that are very familiar with social media to help your loved ones, educate them, show them a couple things to look out for and ways to protect themselves.
And I think, let them know about this particular scheme so they're aware that if somebody calls and says, their grandson is in jail in, Mexico and needs all this money, that it's not true. Just let them know about that scam. Are there any other scams out there now that are similar to this or have been plaguing seniors?
We are seeing every year around a tax season, we do see a lot of identity theft type cases where people are trying to file tax returns and unemployment with other people's information. So again, that's just the reminder to keep track of all of your information. If you receive letters in the mail saying that your information may have been compromised, contact those federal agencies that can investigate that to make sure that no one's using your Social Security number. Another big scam we're seeing in light of COVID, people are calling and offering, free tests, free masks, free hand sanitizer, those types of things. And all you have to do is give a quick phone number and then they will get you those free products. So just be leery of any free advertising or free equipment that people are offering with COVID right now, and be careful what information you're sharing with those folks on the phone.
And it's also important to know that our government agencies are not going to call you and say we've got a warrant against you because you didn't pay taxes or this or that other thing. That those kind of operations are not going to call you. This is going to be like certified mail or some other contact, and sometimes you'll get calls saying that you're wanted for this offense or something, and it's not true.
Right. Our warrants unit rarely calls people to inform them that they have a warrant for their arrest. We usually just show up at your door and knock to let you know. If you, at least in Shawnee County, if you have any inkling that you may have a warrant, or if you've received a phone call or text, we actually have an online database now where you can search for yourself to find out if there are any active warrants. And one big thing is we still get a lot of people that go and buy gift cards and give those numbers over the phone. We will never ask you to pay for anything using a gift card and having you give us the phone number or give us the number off of that gift card over the phone. That is always going to be a scam. So the more we can educate people to not go out and buy large amounts of gift cards and give that information over the phone, the better off we'll all be.
We've been talking to Abigail Christian with the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. And are there any sites they can go to out there? I just, you'll probably Google any number of them, but anything specifically they can go for accurate information about scams?
Yeah, actually, and if you do just Google how to prevent phone scams, go to those .gov.gov websites, and there's quite a bit of information from federal agencies on what to look for in the scams, how to avoid them, and then ultimately how to report those phone scams to the Federal Trade Commission so that they can not necessarily investigate fully every single call, but at least gather information to help prosecute when those scammers are caught.
All right, some very good information there, and I hope that if you're a senior, you've taken heed of that, or if you're a caregiver, you'll also be aware of your loved ones and some things you may need to tell them. I appreciate your comments today, Abigail.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us, and we hope to be back again.
All right. Abigail Christian with the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. Our guest today here on Angel 95 FM's Morning Magazine.